shut the fuck up and listen to me!
Welcome to Hashtag Dave Speaks.
Welcome back. Another episode of Hashtag Dave Speaks. I'm your host. You can also hear me on the Boston Sports Nerds podcast. I am one third of the nerds. And plus, you can find me on the 4-Star Sports Bar Review podcast and video series on YouTube with my co-host Kevin, who's also joining me again here today.
Oh yeah.
Here he is.
Oh yeah.
We're sitting outside post-bomb cyclone doing this episode of Hashtag Dave Speaks, and this seems like a real cherry-picked topic based on the news that has emerged over the past 12 hours or so. We've been talking, we even said when we did our Patriots season preview that we were going to touch back at the end of the year and kind of revisit some of the things that we guessed incorrectly. A lot of those things we guessed incorrectly.
By me.
Kevin went real high, took the over on a lot of things. But now, Seth Wickersham, and like accentuate the sham, ESPN, wrote a hit piece on the Patriots today.
Surprise, surprise.
So we're going to kind of get into that a little bit, and also just, review the year of 2017 for the New England Patriots, and or the 2017 regular season, I should say, and then look forward into 2018 with their playoff run coming up, as obviously they have the week off on this weekend of Hashtag Dave Speaks. So, Kev, I would say how are you, but I know we've been with you all day. We just got done with the 4-Star Sports Bar Review, and
Not that good.
Also, I don't care. I don't care. So that's an important detail. We're not doing the normal setup. We're recording this with a video in my car, just like we do the 4-Star Sports Bar things. So the audio might be a little crazy. So Kevin, you might have to speak up a tad when you go to talk. But other than that, we should be good to go. What do you think?
What a crazy season.
Yeah.
It's been the craziest season that we've had in a while.
I agree with that.
Started out so strong with such high expectations, and then Edelman going down in the preseason just rips your heart out.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dante Hightower. What do you do? Tear his pec? Is that what it was?
He was out for a while, yep.
Yeah.
He's back now? Oh, no, he's on IR.
No, Hightower's gone. He's gone for the season.
Yeah. I was thinking of Van Noy, who just came back.
Yep, Van Noy's back. And then that new kid that was projected to be insanely good, Rivers?
Yeah.
He's gone.
Derek Rivers, rookie.
He injures himself in the preseason. And it just seemed like all the high expectations just kind of slid downhill a little bit.
There was an episode that I did before, I think we did the preview, where I was talking about cut day. It was the Patriots roster. I was saying I felt really underwhelmed by the roster, which was odd because like weeks prior, I was like, oh, they got Brandon Cooks, and they got this guy, and I got that guy, and they got
this
Lawrence
might be the best roster ever.
Dwayne Allen, and who's the other guy? Lawrence Guy, and there was another defensive lineman they picked up too that's now on the Jets.
His last name starts with an E, doesn't it?
Ely.
Ely.
Coney Ely.
Yep.
They got Stephon Gilmore, and what are they going to do with Butler? But who cares? He's here this year, so that'll be a good secondary. Everything felt like it was right. And then, like, when I looked at the roster, position by position, I was like, I don't know. Like, you're one or two hiccups away from being stretched real thin, which was odd because I felt like they added so much talent, but then they cut a guy like Ely. They picked up Bennett halfway through the year because Dwayne Allen wasn't doing shit. Bennett, I think, was a kind of a spark for Allen. I think it created a little competitive nature for him or something because he's been better since. And Bennett goes out on the IR again. He's
the very next week.
Yeah, he plays a game or two, fucking done for the year.
He was only, how many games did he play, 2?
I think 2 with the Pats.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. So Yeah, I don't know. Cooks had a real good year. Did not hit my 10 touchdown bet with John. I owe that man $20 now. I don't know, man. Brady started off white hot, ready to go. Looked great. Thought we were in for a great season. But we had a great season. But last month has been pretty ugly. 7 touchdowns, 6 picks over the past 5 games, I believe. And then there's some of the operational standpoint things where they trade Brissett right before the season starts, right? Like there's like that right before opening game, or maybe right after the first week. He goes to the Colts to get Philip Dorsett. You're like, okay, that makes sense. At the time, I could wrap my mind around it. He just lost Edelman. You get a guy who had a high ceiling. He was a former first-round pick, Phil Dorsett in Indianapolis, where they already had a guy that was just like Phil Dorsett in T.Y. Hilton. So he was rotting away there. Maybe he can bring something to the Patriots. Also, you already have that guy. That's Brandon Cooks. He's a deep seam kind of. I shouldn't say seam, but deep down the field, sometimes middle of the field.
Both of those guys are quick,
real fast. Neither one of them are great route runners.
Right.
So, they're not sharp. They're effective when the play hits. You know what I mean? It's like, after 4 or 5 tries, hucking it downfield, then you get a 40-yard ball. Okay, now we're in scoring range, whatever. The running back situation worked out much differently than I thought it was going to. Deion Lewis was the guy I thought that they could get rid of.
Same for me.
And he's obviously the best running back on the team.
I'm really glad that they did not get rid of that guy.
Yeah.
He's been the backbone of our backfield.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And also, like, between the tackles, like, just handing the ball off, I think he's your most talented running back. Rex Burkhead did emerge. I thought he would kind of run Brandon Bolden out of town. Rex Burkhead had like 7 touchdowns in 5 weeks or something. Like, he had a real good stretch. He gets hurt. He's been out practicing again, though. Should be back for the postseason. Yep. Which is good. I think guys like him, Hogan, Hogan's been out for 5-6 weeks.
Is he coming back?
He's supposed to come back.
For the playoffs.
All right. Yeah. Good. And Malcolm Mitchell's been practicing too. So now the dynamics of the stuck in the middle of quicksand, running in mud, running in water kind of offense that you see sometimes, where if they can't get Gronk and they can't get a penalty on a pass interference on Cooks, what do? And it seems like they sputter a lot. Now, guys like Malcolm Mitchell and Chris Hogan, I think, add talent and variety for different routes and different opportunities along the sideline. You go over the middle, you get a bunch of things. Malcolm Mitchell, big, tough wide receiver. I'm real excited for him to come back. I was hoping he'd be much earlier, but
he's someone that I feel like you can count on to snatch a pass out of the air.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because when he first started out, I don't know if anyone remembers, I didn't think he had that great of hands. He dropped a lot of stuff, but he definitely earned Tom Brady's trust at the end of last season.
I think a lot of it was right place, right time. And I think that's where you get a lot of Tom's trust is, are you where you're supposed to be on the play? Because the way they run their offense is so on the same page. You have to mentally be in the same page, the same wavelength. Like, did you see the play last week where Tom Brady signals to Amendola, he brushes his shoulder?
Yep.
And then Amendola looks at him and he brushes his shoulder?
Yep.
And Amendola just ran without ever turning around, and Brady threw the ball to what he assumed where Amendola would be. And Brady's just like, what the hell? Like, we even gave each other the same signal. Like, you brushed your shoulder too. So, but Brady seemed very nice about that. Normally there's kind of a blow up or whatever, but he went over, put his hand on his helmet, and just started talking to him. And I think that there's a lot of that with the Patriots where you got to be on the same wavelength. So I think Malcolm Mitchell, maybe with drops, Brady understands. The game's not easy. You know what I mean? But if you're at least where you're supposed to be and you have the mental wherewithal and, he'll say mental toughness and the understanding, whatever, all that stuff, I think Malcolm Mitchell does really well. A couple drop balls early, no problem. We'll get him into a rhythm. And then in the Super Bowl, I don't think he had a drop, right? It was like 9 for 9 or whatever in the Super Bowl. So...
And he was actually key for that last drive.
The plays out of bounds on the sideline and everything. Yeah, and they don't have a guy on the roster right now, with Edelman being down, that runs a better comeback route. Because he would just get, 10 yards right when it needs to be hard step back.
I don't know. I think Amendola does.
Even though
he does make, that last game against, who was it, the Jets, he did kind of miss a few things like we were just talking about, but... I have a lot of trust in Danny Amendola.
I think Danny Amendola is very clutch. I just think
He'll be there when you need him.
I think technique-wise, I think Malcolm Mitchell runs a real sharp route on that comeback specifically. You know what I mean? Amendola finds those little pockets that like Wes Welker or Julian Edelman would do. Where not necessarily, it might not be the play, but let's say the play is starting to break down and out of nowhere, he's like 7 yards downfield, just sitting in this little open space in the defense, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, right in the chest, you can kind of turn around, get a couple more yards. Amendola finds the spot that Brady's going to be looking for him to be. May not be the actual route, but once the play breaks down, he finds the soft spot. So let's go over some of the things that we thought was going to happen. Right.
All right.
You said Brady was going to throw more than 55 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I did say that.
Do you want to...
Well, obviously I'm going to change it now because...
Do you think he throws 24 in the postseason?
Yes. No.
Just a couple 8 pieces, no problem.
He's going to be dropping 70 points in the playoffs, so I'm not even worried about
Let's
it.
do it.
No, I think, though, adding those 3 offensive players back, Burkhead, who were we just saying? Burkhead,
Hogan, and Mitchell.
I think that's going to create a spark that we need, and I also think other teams aren't going to really be prepared for that because they really haven't seen them that much this season.
It's true. It adds a lot of different wrinkles. It's true.
Right. So I think we're going to see the offense not what we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the season, but it's going to be pretty damn close, just minus Edelman.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to get the spark that we need.
There you go. Yeah, I can see that.
But obviously, no. He's not going to throw that many touchdowns.
So he didn't break any records this year, except for most yards by a 40-year-old. And he was the passing leader for the NFL at 40 years old, which is wild. He had like 4,588 yards.
He is, in my eyes, and I think rightfully so for the NFL, he's the MVP.
He should be that's a good conversation. He should be the MVP. Todd Gurley makes an interesting case, but I think Tom Brady's at that point now where you're trying to find people that aren't Tom Brady. Like, you're trying to find a reason why it shouldn't be Tom Brady, as opposed to just saying, yeah, no, it's Tom Brady. Like, he's that important.
But, I mean, isn't he kind of like LeBron in that sense, where every single year he can get the MVP?
Absolutely.
But they look at it and they're like, we can't give Tom Brady his 10th consecutive MVP.
Right.
So they have to throw other people in there, which is complete dog shit.
It is dumb. It is dumb to me.
If you're the MVP, you're the MVP.
I think the problem is that the NFL wants, and the NBA does the same thing. Like, oh, what's the shiny new toy? Like, what's the new splash? Like,
what's appealing?
Steph Curry. Oh my God, he broke the 3-point record. Sure, yeah, great. And then the second year he got it, and it was like, but he wasn't as good as he was last year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then, but the team went 73-9. So you're like, okay, maybe, you know what I mean? It's kind of a Steph Curry-driven team, and yeah, okay. And then, this year will probably be either James Harden or Giannis Antetokounmpo, and last year's Russell Westbrook. Sure, averaged a triple-double for the first time in like 50 years in the NBA. It's only happened once before. So, yeah, I have no problem with Russell Westbrook getting it, and not LeBron, because Russell Westbrook made history that year.
Right.
So that's fine. But Tom Brady, like, no one set the world on fire this year. Carson Wentz probably would have been the MVP if he stayed healthy.
I agree with that, yeah.
He would have had over 35 touchdowns. He probably would have had about 10 picks. He would have been over 4,500 yards just about. I think he finished with 39 on the year. So, give him 3 games. If he gets 250, 300 a whack, he would have been, 4,600 yards. Brady, led the NFL in passing yards almost all year. Even with him sputtering at the end of the year, he had, 180 this past week, 220 the week before that. Not great performances.
But I feel like that's typical Tom Brady. Once December rolls around, which is surprising, his stats go down in December.
Right. We talked about that on the Boston Sports Nerds podcast last week. Yeah.
And that does happen. You expect that, but I'm telling you, once the playoffs hit, that man's a beast.
He's a beast?
He turns into a different animal, and he is playoff Brady.
Right. And I think that's going to be the case. I don't see any team in the AFC being able to come to Gillette Stadium and beat them. Is there anyone that scares you?
I'm going to be honest. The only team which does scare me a little bit is Pittsburgh. We went into Pittsburgh, and I'm not here to debate whether it was a catch or not.
It was not a catch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, rules, it wasn't a catch, but should it have been? I think so.
Yeah.
that team, for some reason, has the swag this year. And if I see any team coming into Gillette and beating the Patriots, it's possibly Pittsburgh.
They do have swag. I'm interested to see what's up with Antonio Brown. Coming off that.
I hope his leg is fucking mangled.
Okay. All right. Just put him in a wood chipper. If I can throw that size 9 right
No,
in there.
just because he is a large part of their offense.
Yeah.
And without him being in that offense, I don't think there is a chance that Pittsburgh comes into Gillette and beats Tom Brady and the Patriots. But with him being in there, there's a slight smidge of hope.
A really good player. He could have debatably been the MVP too if he didn't get hurt.
Right.
I don't worry about Pittsburgh, and the reason why I don't worry about Pittsburgh, and this sounds really arrogant, and the law of averages would spit in my face, you never win.
They're what, 10-2 against the Patriots?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I
and Mike
believe it's
Tomlin's like
10-2.
1-7 against him or something. Like, with the regime they have now, not even just their,
Can we talk about Mike Tomlin for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Why does that man always look like he just stuck that sour Warhead candy in his mouth? His
Right.
eyes are all popping out and watering. That's all I wanted to say about him.
All right, duly noted.
He looks like a Sour Patch Kid that you just squeezed really hard.
Yeah, he looks like a stress ball where you squeeze and like the eyes.
He always looks like he smells something foul.
He's kind of got those Chris Hogan eyes where they're just sort of
Right.
like, real
Popping out of his head.
But yeah, there's a lot of depth to Tomlin's eyes. Hogan's are just big and round and flat. It seems like
Tomlin's are just spherical,
right,
moist.
Yeah, yeah. Just very damp eyes. So I just don't worry about Pittsburgh because history has never given me a reason to worry about Pittsburgh. So that's a shitty fucking outlook, and I know it because when it does happen the one day, I'm like, oh, and I'm gonna I'm gonna drop dead, and I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. Because I'm like, but it never happens, but Dad, and I'm gonna have to call my dad and then have him explain how things
What
work in
just
the world.
happened.
Yeah, because I don't get it. Everything you've told me is a lie, and I'm gonna freak out. But
It just scares me. The Patriots' defense has
see,
been
you're real worried about them.
I am. Like, I understand that they ended the season and they are a top 5 defense now, but they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, they go in stretches.
Like, look what they did against Pittsburgh. Tom Brady drove down the field. I say we, like I'm on the team.
You are.
I am. I'm a Patriot.
Robert Kraft says all the time, we're all Patriots.
Yeah. Kevin DeLoach, you're a Patriot.
Kevin, you're specifically or unequivocally the sweetest Patriot.
So, Tom Brady drives down the field. We end up going up, what was it, 27-24 at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So-
or 24-21, something like that.
Yeah, it was something around there. And I'm thinking in my head the whole time there was, I think, 1:05 left on the clock.
Just about, yeah, when they got the ball back.
And I was, the whole time I'm sitting there watching this, thinking in my head, like, please don't give up that big play. Please don't give up that big play. And they give up the big play to Juju Smith.
Schuster.
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Smith-Schuster.
So they give up the big play to him, and I'm just like, typical son of a bitch. Like, this is how this whole season's been going. Like, and then they find a way to pick it in the end zone at the end.
You still got Deron Harmon. I think the Patriots are good as long as Deron Harmon's
My
on your
heart
side.
can't take this anymore.
Deron Harmon is the Mariano Rivera of football games. That guy closes them out, dude. I've never seen a guy with more game-ending picks. And he probably has like 3. And I'm just like, oh, every time. Like, just like every game. But it
Always
just
count
feels
on
like
Harmon.
every time I feel like there's a big play to be made at the end of the game, he winds up with the ball. And it just, I don't know what it is. He just has a knack for it. And it may just be one of those things. It's like a seed planted in my head. So every time he does, I'm like, there he goes again. And it's like for the second time in his career, I'm like, see that? Every time.
But I just feel like if it's the defense that has to make the play to win the game,
Yeah.
it scares the shit out of me to have our defense out there. Because I don't know what defense we're going to get. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, you don't know who's going to be out there at what time.
It's a good point. They're like 29th in the league in yards allowed. Aaron was talking about this to me the other day. So I don't care. I don't care about that. And he's like, how can you not care about that? It's a big deal. So because yards allowed is a fucking skewed stat. Yards allowed is like when you're up by 30 and you go and prevent defense and they get 80 yards on a drive all the way downfield. the field shrinks. That prevent, all of a sudden, okay. That prevent, all of a
God bless
sudden,
me.
shrinks. Yeah. Yeah, that too. So, bless up. So, that prevent shrinks, when the field shrinks, the prevent just means there's 11 people in the same area. It doesn't matter how you play it. And they wind up with a Ron Harmon pick, and game over. So, yards don't matter. Points does. If you determine games by how many yards were gained, then the Pats would be terrible. As long as they play winner loser determined by points scored, then I'll take the Patriots defense, man. There's 4 teams or 3 teams better than them in the NFL at that, and that's a pretty low percentage. You know what I mean?
that's just crazy to me to see where they were at the beginning of the year.
Historically the worst defense ever through like 6 games.
Then in the middle of it's been like 3 separate Patriot defenses that have been out on the field, because I feel like the middle of the season they got their shit together and they were like a force to be reckoned with.
When they played the Falcons,
That
I thought that was as well-rounded of a
Mm-hmm.
60-minute performance by the whole team. Offense, defense, special teams. Not
Yep.
to sound like a Patriot, but unequivocally, we're all Patriots. So,
that was a 28-3 defense right there.
yeah.
I don't know what that means. I just wanted to throw that out there and throw it in the face of
Did you
Atlanta
see?
fans.
Did you see the Saints during halftime? The cheerleaders
Yes.
formed the
Oh my
numbers
God,
28-3.
perfect.
So
I'm
bad.
now
Like,
also a Saints fan.
hey, you're not. You weren't part of that game. And you just do it anyway. Such a boss move. New Orleans for the win. Second biggest cheaters in sports history, if you ask the NFL fans, because Bountygate, whatever, we feel you have first round picks. It's a tough thing
Yeah.
to lose to the NFL. But, whatever. I want a Saints-Pats Super Bowl.
I don't.
That would be a great game.
Would be a great game, but that's not the team I want to see in the Super
Does it scare you?
No, they don't scare me.
Okay.
I still think that we beat them, but I want to see a Patriots and Eagles Super Bowl,
Oh, well, rematch from 2004, huh?
and I want to see,
You want Nick Foles and the Eagles to fucking...
yes,
Who cares?
but I want to see Harrison jump on the field and get the pick to win the game for the Patriots.
Rodney Harrison?
Rodney Harrison.
Sign a one-day contract? That would be cool. It'll never happen, but it would be neat. Real interesting about the NFC playoffs. Who's in the NFC playoffs? Rattle them off to me.
So we got the Panthers.
Beat them in the Super Bowl.
We've got the Eagles.
Beat them in the Super Bowl.
We've got Atlanta.
Beat them in the Super Bowl.
We've got the Vikings.
The Vikings have never been to a Super Bowl.
Idiots. We have the Saints.
Haven't played them in a Super Bowl.
I know we're missing one other one.
You're missing a couple here.
How many did I just name off?
I'm not sure. What are you looking at? Who are they? Who are these people?
Babies.
All right. Vikings, first off, they'll get a home game in the Super Bowl. That's wild. That's a wild thing. And I really want that to happen. Just out of...
That team scares me.
The Vikings scare me the most.
Yeah.
Vikings scare me the
That
most.
team scares me.
Having to go to Minnesota against Minnesota in the Super Bowl would be real wild. You could have went to my Instagram post with the tournament, and you would have been fine. You're on Instagram, just fucking swept away from it for no reason at all. So we got the Falcons beat them in the Super Bowl. Here we go. Here's what it is. Rams beat them in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Falcons beat them in the Super Bowl. Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl. Who else do we got?
I don't know.
Kev, let me see it. Let me see. Give me your phone.
This just isn't working out right now.
Click that.
It's not this one.
No, that's not it. All right, here we go. Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl. Rams beat them in the Super Bowl. Panthers
Yep.
beat them in the Super Bowl. Who are the Rams? Falcons beat them in the Super Bowl. Panthers beat them in the Super Bowl. Never played the Saints. Never played the Vikings. 4 out of the 6 teams in the NFC. Jesus, that took me way too long to get to that. 4 out of the 6 teams in the NFC playoffs have already lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl before. So we have a pretty good chance.
Which
We
is
got
crazy. Oh my god.
Two-thirds.
That's just insane.
2/3 of the NFC playoffs will be coming back, or has the potential to come back and lose another Super Bowl to the Patriots. Imagine that. To the same guy.
Crazy.
To the same quarterback and coach. That's wild.
Absolutely
The
absurd.
Rams, 18 years ago, 17 years ago. Hey, we're back. 17 years.
And we're going to whoop your ass.
New owner, new coach, new quarterback, New city. Jesus, we moved. Whole new thing. Oh, wait a minute. To the one guy that's still there, like whatever, like their hot dog vendor or whatever, whoever's the guy that actually still works for the Rams from 17 years ago, is like, hey, it's still Bill and Tom and Rob. That's crazy. Like Robert Kraft.
Absolutely insane. That's so crazy to think about.
Sustainability is nuts. Yep. So, before we move on, that's a really good segue, but I'm going to interrupt it. Super Bowl prediction, or playoff predictions.
All right, playoff predictions. So, who do you have for the Kansas City-Tennessee game?
Kansas City.
I have Kansas City as well.
Okay.
Who do you have for Jacksonville-Buffalo?
I'm going to go Jacksonville. I think out of the Bills will be the Bills. They made the playoffs. That's exciting. That's the first time in 20-something years. But I don't think they get their win yet.
I think they get their win. I think they beat Jacksonville with the upset.
That's interesting.
Just because they have such a big chip on their shoulder and they have a lot to prove. And I feel like just somehow, some way, they will themselves to a win. And Jacksonville's offense hasn't been that great. It's been sputtering going into the playoffs.
Right. But
Blake Bortles, their defense is good.
Yeah.
But then again, Buffalo's defense is decent.
It's decent. Decent, not great defense wins championships.
So if you have a sputtering offense with a defense that's doing well, you do the math.
Okay.
So
that means the Jags win. He said if you have a sputtering offense with the defense that's doing well, then... Oh, you're saying the Bills' defense.
Yeah,
no.
I just said beefense.
Beefense.
I'm thinking about beef.
Got to get that beef in there. All right, so you have the Bills coming to Gillette Stadium.
I have the Bills coming to Gillette.
All right, I have Kansas City. I still take the Patriots to win.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
And then with my scenario, it
Chiefs
would have Kansas City going to Pittsburgh, which I think Pittsburgh beats them.
Is Alex Smith hurt?
I don't think so. I
know they went with their guy, but I don't know if that was just like a, hey, it's the final week of the season thing.
I'm pretty sure it was. I did get a look at him.
What about Kareem Hunt? Healthy?
I think he is healthy.
If he's healthy... No, well, in my situation, I have the Chiefs playing the Pats revenge game.
Which that never works out well for the other team.
Right. And there's that guy from Barstool that was real drunk at the game. Remember seeing that video? Do you want to come back here to Gillette Stadium in January? You're crazy. Screaming at all the Chiefs fans. He might look like a prophet.
So long story short, I am scared of Pittsburgh coming to New England, but I think New England stomps out their flame and goes to the Super Bowl.
Of course, yeah.
So now we're on to the
Super Bowl
NFC.
number 8 for Tom Brady.
Oh my God! Like, how many years? 17 years he's played with the Patriots.
He's been the starter for
16.
I think 17 or 16, something like that.
And he could have gone to the Super Bowl every goddamn year except the one that he was hurt.
Yeah. A couple of years they were like divisional round knockouts. Remember that? They had 3 straight years. They were
I do remember that, but like, that's close. Like,
yeah, you made the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Insane.
They've only missed the playoffs twice in Tom Brady's career. Once in 2002, right after their first Super Bowl, where they missed the playoffs, and then 2008, where they didn't. Brady was hurt.
I think Patriot fans should start to really soak in what's going on with the Patriots right now, because I have a feeling we may never see success like this again.
Yeah, that's not a
in
hot
our
take.
lifetime.
That's not a hot take. You mean we might not see the best franchise for 20 years at a time ever again? Is that your?
Don't talk to me that way.
Is that your wild take, Ken?
All right, on to the NFC. So,
we're never going to see the 50-60 Celtics where they win 11 out of 13 championships?
You are a real piece of shit.
I'm sorry.
So, New Orleans versus Carolina.
I'm going to go Saints. Saints. Who there?
I'm gonna go New Orleans. Yeah.
Who there?
So then we have the Rams versus... Who the hell is that? It's cut off. But Rams versus Falcons.
Then the Falcons are broken. I'm mad they made the playoffs. They snuck in because Seattle just fell the fuck apart. I really thought the Falcons weren't going to make the playoffs this year, and I was so close. So close to having that down. They were the 6th seed. Congratulations. You were you were 6 out of 16 teams. You're basically middle of the pack. Get the fuck over yourselves, Atlanta. I'm gonna go. Who are they playing? L.A. Rams. Rams for the win.
This is actually kind of tough for me right here.
Todd Gurley, man, goes crazy.
Because deep down inside, I kind of want to see another Atlanta Patriots
You want to rip their fucking
Super
souls
Bowl,
out and crush them
but
and make them double broke?
this time I want them to go up 62-3. And I want Tom Brady to storm the fuck back and beat them 63-62. I want it to be that close.
That'd be great.
But it's not going to happen. I'm taking Rams.
Okay. That'd be great if the Falcons did make the Super Bowl, Patriots beat them again, and then the Falcons are double broken. That'd be amazing.
Double broken.
Just fucking like.
So then that would set up a New Orleans-Philadelphia game. Number 4 against the number 1.
Give me the Saints.
I'm taking Philly.
See, I don't trust their situation right now. They got a quarterback that's hurt. They're on their backup quarterback. Nick Foles is a very, very adequate backup quarterback. Just don't trust him to beat Drew Brees.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't respect it. I'm taking Philly.
Okay. No reason, no logic, just to be that guy. Okay.
So now we have Minnesota versus Rams.
Minnesota. It's a terrible accent. That was real bad.
Yeah, I don't even know what that was. That was like a Norwegian Jericket.
That was like one of those, yeah. Norwegian Jericket. Can you imagine that fucking thing?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Skin violin.
I'm taking the Rams.
I like the Rams. I actually think the Rams are a better team. They're more dangerous. But Joe has planted this shitty fucking seed in my head
Of course he did.
that the Vikings are the 2001 Patriots. Starting quarterback gets hurt. Backup quarterback comes in. Game manager. Defense does everything right. Not great. I mean, the 01 defense was real good. But it wasn't as good as like the 04 defense. That was a great defense. Minnesota just does all the things right. And I really, really like the potential home game for them. So I'm kind of just riding my hopes more than anything with Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's that.
That would set up, for me anyways, that would set up Rams in Philadelphia. And
1-2 seeds, right?
nope, 1 and 3.
Oh, 1 and 3. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the 3 seed.
Who's the 2 seed? Minnesota?
The 2 seed is Minnesota.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna take the 3 seed, and I think the Rams go on to the Super Bowl.
All right. Now, that's a real interesting thing. Because you said
I know
3 years ago that Tom Brady's going to go out the way that he came in, winning 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. You didn't ever mention, don't fucking act like you did, okay?
No.
That it'd be against the Rams. You didn't say that.
I was gonna bring that up in this podcast, though.
Yeah.
Certainly was.
Yeah, so you don't get to call double shots on that. No fucking Quincy no take backs, whatever. But the 3 out of 4, the way that he came in, pretty interesting, pretty wild.
You do know that I'm Kev Radames, right?
That's a thing that you call yourself?
You do know that I've gotten 5 Patriot scores correctly.
That is 17, okay, or 16, so big deal.
No, I'm just saying, in the past 3 years, I've gotten 5 scores exactly correct.
Oh, okay.
When I've called my shot.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, so you got a bunch of games right, I guess, over a 3-year span. Not great. You said the Rams go to the Super Bowl to play the Patriots. I'm going to go...
Well, you have set up New Orleans versus Minnesota.
Saints, Minnesota. I think Saints are a lot better. God, those are 2 bowls I really want. Oh, fucking Christ.
That is a tough one to pick from, but...
I'm going to go Vikings, home. Drew Brees on the road is not great. Not terrible. But, yeah, I'm going to go Vikings.
So,
Pats, Vikings, Super Bowl.
Now, we come down to the Super Bowl. You have Pats, Vikings.
Oh, my God.
Who you got?
I'm freaking out. Here's why. Little tidbit for you. The Patriots have never beaten anything that's not an animal in the Super Bowl.
Vikings were animals. They used to bite people's throats out.
They were humans. So, and humans are animals, I guess, whatever. I don't need that. Okay, I get it. Darwinism, whatever. I hear the whole thing. But you know what I mean. Like
Humans are monkeys.
they beat, okay. They beat Rams, Panthers, Eagles, lost to the Giants, beat Seahawks, Falcons, clean up real nice against birds, lost to Packers, and lost to the Bears. So they've only lost one Super Bowl to an animal.
So let me ask you, what is a packer?
Packer's not an animal.
What is it, though?
It's a cheese packing man from Green Bay.
Yeah.
Guy who packs cheese at a cheese distributor.
All right. I'm not going to tell you what I think it is.
That's interesting. But there you fill in the blank there. So, yeah, person. Definite person. Giants, big people. They beat animals left and right except for the Bears. Clean up real nice against airborne animals. Neither the Saints nor the Vikings are animals, so that's not good for the Pats. I said the Vikings would win. Will they get the first home game ever in the Super Bowl?
So what are you going with? Do you finally pick against Tom Brady and the Patriots?
You're fucking high. Pats win. Pats win down 28-0.
No, all right. If Patriots go down 28-0 to the Vikings, they're not the Falcons.
They're not the what?
They're not the Falcons.
Their offense is much worse than the Falcons.
They're not the Falcons.
That's interesting.
We would be in trouble if we went down 28-0.
What about the Falcons going into last year made you feel like that? Oh, well, we could probably spot them 25. Like absolutely nothing.
But I'm just saying they might have more testicular fortitude than the Falcons.
Maybe. You might be right.
You're at home, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it's easy to start celebrating. Oh, I'm 28-0. Listen to this crowd. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, 28-7. Yeah, big deal. 28-14. All right.
Boy.
Okay, all right. Listen, they still need two scores, though. 28-21. Oh, my God. Pick six. 28-28. What the fuck? That's it. No, I say Pats beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl in Minnesota. Shove it down your fucking throat.
And what do you have for a score?
I will go 27-23.
27-23 Patriots.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I arrive at mine.
Okay.
I have the St. Louis Rams versus the New England Patriots. And I obviously have the Patriots winning because that's all we do. That's all we do is win.
Well, we do lose 2 Super Bowls to the Giants.
Yeah, well, those are out of my mind. I don't want to think about them. I don't want to go home and hurt myself tonight because you've just brought them up.
Right. What's worse? Quick question. This is a little deep cut back to the 4-Star Sports Bar Review podcast. The Giants beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl or teriyaki wings? His face. I wish that was on video. His face just.
Well, it is, but it's
It is, but you can't see a fucking thing.
Oh man, I would rather eat 14 boxes of wings.
Really?
Yeah.
Teriyaki wings, huh?
Than have my Patriots lose to the Giants. That fucking god-awful franchise. Fuck you, John Ramos. Bastard.
They'll always have that.
Yeah.
They'll always have 08. 07, 08.
And 11.
11, 12, yeah, whatever. That one doesn't matter to me. It's the fucking first one that was the...
Yeah, that was the dagger.
That kills, yeah.
Undefeated
Perfect
season.
yeah.
But, Patriots beat Rams, and I'm going to go with a score of 24-17.
Huh. If you were any sort of man.
Where are you going with that one?
If you were built with any men's genetics, you would fucking guess the same score.
Nope.
That they want to know too, because if Tom Brady's going to go out the way he came in, beating the fucking Rams, why wouldn't he beat them? What was it, 27-24, 24-21, 23-20? What was that score? 23-20?
No, wasn't it 24-21?
Maybe 24-21, something like that. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't they do that? Huh?
Because Because
Why wouldn't they sign Adam Vinatieri?
He's not going to go out exactly the same way he came in.
So why wouldn't they sign Adam Vinatieri for a day? I want answers.
Because.
You said that they'll give fucking Rodney goddamn Harrison a one-day contract to pick off the Eagles in the end zone.
Look.
You're any man.
No, it's not going to be exactly the same. He's just going to go out the way he came in.
So then you're saying Tom Brady retires?
I have a weird feeling.
Wow.
He goes out with 6 rings, never been done. Neither has 5.
Right, that's what it kills me about Aaron's thing. He says if Brady wins another one, then he's to go. I'm like, but he's already got more.
More than anybody.
Right, but everyone's got their criteria, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, goes out the way he came in, and but then I also have this thing where we know Brady's a competitor through and through.
Do you think he wouldn't go for 3 straight?
And that's what worries me. That's the little conundrum that I have.
Why does that worry you?
That I might not be right.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that Tom Brady wants to go for a 3rd one. But if anything, that should be a godsend.
Yeah. No, he probably will try to go for 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he's going to win that one and say, you know what? What about 4?
What about 4?
What about 5?
Yeah.
I'm playing till I'm 67.
Just what about 22 championships in a row? I guess we should get to the Seth Wickersham story.
Yeah, might as well.
Because that kind of brings up, that ties in all right. Or you're saying Brady might go.
I just have that weird feeling, yeah.
Wickersham says there's trouble in the neighborhood. Belichick hates Brady. Brady hates Belichick. Brady went over Belichick's head to Kraft, said, hey, get Garoppolo the fuck out of here. Kraft goes, Bill, I don't give a shit about what you normally would do.
He didn't say it like that. He went, Bill!
Yeah. Oh, Bill. Bill, you know I love you, but Tommy says that Jimmy G's gotta go. Oh, getting a phone call. Fucking this whole thing up. Fucking this whole video is destroyed. Decline that. Decline that call. Keep that going. Don't mind that noise. Got a phone call from the bill collector. Definitely.
I think it was Bill.
It was Bill. Hey, Dave. You were unequivocally.
Well, that would be Robert.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Hey, Dave, you know, we don't.
I heard you talking about
I heard
me.
you talking, and he's just a great ball player. He's a great football player.
That audio is not going to make
That's
it
not
up.
going to translate. That's not going to translate. I do a really good Bill Belichick impression, but
You do.
you can't hear it because it's so quiet and mumbled.
All right. The Wickersham.
So Wickersham, fucking Wickersham, Wicker shame on you.
Yeah.
Does a hit piece basically talking about how the Patriots all fucking hate each other, the world's going to end, and we're all going to die, right? So, what do you think? Any merit, any truth to this? He doesn't quote anybody. There's not a fucking name on any source. There's no attributed quotes. We listened to him on EI, kind of tap dance around, saying, oh, well, no, I've been doing this for years, and I have plenty of access, and blah, blah, blah. Is this ESPN doing what ESPN does? Does this feel like an ESPN hit piece, or is there something to this? Do you think there's any credence? What do you think?
I feel like there's always a little bit of truth behind every lie. There might be some substance to this, but I don't think it's to the extent that this Wickersham is talking about.
Yeah.
I think, just like any long-term relationship, I think that there's ups, there's downs, there's disagreements, there's agreements, there's love, there's sex, there's passion. I think that there is a
we
little...
can sure hope so. You know what I mean?
There's fire, there's Cincinnati bow ties. No, I think that there is a little bit of truth behind it. I don't think...
Do you think it's an issue?
No. And I think, if anything, this just fuels the fire for the Patriots to go on and win another Super Bowl.
And just fucking cram it right down there, huh?
Cram!
Shove it in the old gullet of ESPN.
They're a bunch of liars. Like,
ESPN, John called while we were at lunch, and he said, it's tough to take this article seriously because ESPN's turned into fucking sports TMZ. And We don't know what that means.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
gossip.
a good way of putting it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's you know, you don't know what to believe. It's all gossip. It's all hearsay. It's, oh, this person said that he was cheating on so-and-so. And sort of like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't care. Did they win football games? Like, that's the point to me. If this is as bad as it's been relationship-wise, I hate to tell you, world NFL fans, this isn't your saving grace. This isn't, oh, finally, the Patriots are being dissected, and there's so much trouble. They were 13-3. Tom Brady's probably going to be your MVP. They're the number 1 seed. They have home field throughout, and the defending champions don't have to get on a plane again until they have to go to Minnesota and probably win the championship there. So if this season has been any semblance of how bad it is in New England, then
Keep it
fucking
coming.
A. Yeah, let's do it all the time. Let's make it worse.
Yeah.
Like, let's ruin this thing. Let's fucking break it all apart. The Patriots, I believe, are professional, and they're so well put together, and their situational intelligence and emotional intelligence that runs throughout that franchise from the top down, from Kraft to Bill to Brady. They all know there's a common goal. I may not like you, but I want to win. And that's exactly what this franchise does, better than any other franchise over the past 17 years, and close to any other franchise in history. Those goddamn Steelers still have one more ring than us. That drives me crazy.
Well, that ends this year.
That ends this year. That'll be tied up 6-6. Steelers, you no longer have the leverage, and you're like 1 in 9,000
Yeah,
against
but
the
that's
Pats.
like over a span of different
50
quarterbacks.
years. Yeah, right.
Tom Brady has just tied you for the most rings.
Yes, Tom Brady has more than your most winning quarterback.
Exactly.
Bradshaw had 4 of your 6. Roethlisberger's got 2. Brady has 5. So Brady might have as many as Roethlisberger and Bradshaw. You're the most winning franchise of all time. And Brady is going to have as many Super Bowls as the only ones that won Super Bowls for the team that won the most Super Bowls. How does that feel? The
God.
feel.
It's a throbber.
It's a real table raiser.
No, I just find it really weird that every single time it seems like the playoffs are rolling around, all of a sudden ESPN cracks this crazy story.
They haven't done reporting in years.
It's just, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know. Good, like, kudos to Wickersham. It's a well-written story. There's a lot of stuff in there that I have a tough time believing. Dale Arnold just made the point while talking to him on EEI that you said, Wickersham, that Brady has been miserable this year. He's been more frustrated this entire year than he's ever been. Yet when Garoppolo got traded, he was liberated and he was in the best mood he was in all year. But you started the article off with how the argument between him and Josh McDaniels on the sideline versus the Bills?
I don't think
December
that was
3rd?
the Bills.
It was the Bills because
Was it?
no, maybe it was the Dolphins.
That's who I thought
It
it
was
was.
the Dolphins. Yeah, maybe it was the Dolphins because someone said that they were in. I think it's Devontae Parker or Jarvis Landry said they were in Tom Brady's head. Like, you play offense. So that was a weird thing for a wide receiver to say. I got in his head, talking shit from the sideline. But yeah, wherever he had his little snafu with McDaniels, they said that came from months and months of frustration this season. But wait a minute. If Garoppolo got traded and Brady was in the best mood he's ever been, and that argument happened after Garoppolo got traded, then why would he be frustrated if he's also the most liberated he's been all year? Wickersham, what are you doing? What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of timeline issues there. A lot of really weird stories about how Garoppolo wanted to get seen last year by TB12 and Alex Guerrero, and that he went to go to his appointment, and Alex Guerrero and TB12 wouldn't answer the door, and they kept him locked out, and I don't know, a bunch of weird
That just
things.
sounds like really childish.
Yeah, it sounds dumb.
Like laughing at Garoppolo on the other side of the
It's
glass.
like,
Like, you can't get
you
in.
sucker. We can't make you feel better. We can't help you reach peak performance and sustainability. And your muscles
Idiot.
will never have elasticity, you idiot. You unpliable. Fuck you. It just seems ridiculous.
Pig.
Yeah, you pig. You stiff pig. You can't fucking move.
You pig dick bastard.
How's that broken bone that we're doing deep soft tissue work on? Yeah, come see us. Come see TB12 for your broken bone when we do elasticity and pliability. Absolutely nonsense. Maybe Garoppolo wanted to see him for the rehab side of things. Sure. I'm not doubting that. I don't know what happened there, but I do know this. Tom's a motherfucker. Tom wants to win. Tom wants to be the quarterback. Tom is stubborn. Tom wants to be the guy. He has a chip on his shoulder. If you asked him, hey, what pick were you getting? He'd be like 199th. Like, he knows. He knows I was the 6th round pick, whatever. Like, he remembers all that kind of stuff. And he knows what it was like being the 4th string quarterback to the 3rd to the 2nd to being the starter, and then having Bledsoe come back and actually have to take his place in the AFC Championship game. And then it was like, oh, God, who do we play? What do we do? Like, he never, ever will give anyone the opportunity to take his job from him. And I don't blame him because he's hyper competitive. You think Michael Jordan was like, hey, fucking Ron Harper, why don't you do free throw drills instead of me? Probably not. Also, not a great example. Michael Jordan used to show up like fucking drunk and hungover with cigar smoke coming out of his nostrils to practice. But you get the idea. Hyper-competitive person. You think Tiger Woods like, oh, you want me to just share the driving range with you? Okay, nah, go ahead. You know, you can hit these balls. I don't want to. Like, absolutely not. People like that fucking practice. They work all the time. They work hard. They're not giving anybody anything. Give someone an inch, they'll fucking try to go a mile. And especially in sports. So I don't blame Tom Brady for being a stubborn fuck when it comes to that. I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Well said.
Thank you. So, fucking Jimmy Garoppolo, you stiff pig, you unpliable
Now, I'm going to
fucker.
be honest. Now, watching Jimmy Garoppolo go to San Francisco and tear it up down there.
Yeah, throw 5 picks.
Yes, he does, I know, but
No, he's been really good.
I
I'm
did
just
not want to let go of Garoppolo.
I didn't either.
But I understand that we couldn't keep him because he's not going to want to be a backup to Tom Brady his whole career.
Right. Because Tom's going to play till he's 60.
But that makes me really nervous that we did get rid of Garoppolo with Brady on the twilight years of his career.
Right. Right. And yeah, I get it. What were we going to do? And supposedly in the article, you know, they said that they offered Garoppolo 4 times this year, a 4-year contract with between $17 and $18 million per year to kind of bridge just in case, and then the money would escalate as soon as Brady left, and they would give him more when that day came. So it's just kind of a security blanket for the Patriots. Garoppolo obviously wasn't interested. There's a bunch of weird stuff too, like Don Yee is the agent for Jimmy Garoppolo, who also represents Tom Brady. So they have the same agent. So at some point you would think Bill probably called and said, hey, Don, is Tom really going to play till he's 45? You know what I mean? And then Don goes, yeah, that's what he keeps saying. Okay. All right. You know what I mean?
You got to go with the sure thing.
You got to get rid of Garoppolo then, because if Tom really is playing till 45, and Bill has done a lot of things like traded Jimmy Collins, let Rodney Harrison go, let Willie McGinnis go, let Ty Law go, let Darrelle Revis go, Vince Wilfork, how many guys, Logan Mankins traded for a backup tight end. Like, how many times have we seen Bill make a move on somebody that you thought he wasn't going to do it? He says, oh, it could happen to Tom too. I don't know if it does. I don't know if Bill Belichick has the fucking cojones, and I don't blame him, to be the guy that trades Tom Brady.
I think if it benefits the team, I think Belichick would pull the trigger.
But what if Tom Brady beat you in the Super Bowl that year? How do you swallow that? How do you? That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare to have to deal with. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, we could have had him, but I thought 3 years down the road would be better without. But this one's real tough, New England fans. I get it. I get it. I'm sorry. Like, that's like when Theo Epstein had the balls to trade Nomar.
Yeah.
Like, how do you trade Nomar? That's
well,
crazy.
we went on to win the World Series.
And it worked out. But also Nomar was kind of running his way out of town. Remember, he scratched the B off his helmet, covering it with pine tar.
Yep.
And not the most likable guy at the time.
I think he was just going through some steroid issues. Like,
Could be.
His nips were hurting. He was in a bad space.
Just chafing a lot. No, I just feel like there's certain guys that can do it. And Boston is loaded with management that is so aggressive. And it's interesting to think about. Like, Danny Ainge traded Isaiah Thomas. Danny Ainge traded away Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Danny Ainge traded away Rajon Rondo. Danny Ainge traded away Kendrick Perkins. Danny Ainge traded everyone on the starting 5 of the championship team except for Ray Allen.
Yep.
And Ray is the one that's most hurt. which is really odd. Like, hey, he let you sign a free agent deal. I mean, Danny's so aggressive. Dave Dombrowski. Oh, you want our farm system? Fucking here. Take it. You want everybody? You can have it. We get Chris Sale? Perfect. Bill Belichick. Oh, Jamie Collins, you're late to practice? Bye. Cleveland Browns. We'll see you later. Go rot. Like, that's exactly what that is. So it's interesting to think, like, in a city where people are moving and shaking and stars aren't safe. And also, you think, look around any other city in sports. Is there a city that's that aggressive?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't even compare.
It's crazy.
No other city even comes close.
I just don't think, and I think Robert Kraft, I do believe Robert Kraft would get in the way of Belichick trading Brady. Because
That's
Robert
a valid
Kraft's
point.
a businessman.
Yep.
And his business is a lot better with Tom Brady playing quarterback for him than Jacoby Brissett or Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever, because Tom Brady has been the phoenix that has raised the Patriots out of the ashes from being a inept, useless franchise. And they were good with Parcells and Bledsoe, then they were awful with Carroll and Bledsoe, and then they were not good with Belichick and Bledsoe, and then they were pretty good, and then great, and then a dynasty, and then, oh yeah, the best team ever. Like, you know what I mean? So, and Brady's the one occurring thing, or the one reoccurring name there, and along with Belichick, but I just...
The only thing that worries me is, you know how much I love Brady.
Yeah.
That beautiful, beautiful man,
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yep. Little butt chin.
Sexy little butt chin he's got. It really worries me that maybe we keep Brady for 3 more solid good years, but maybe we just gave up our future by getting rid of Garoppolo, where now we could have had a dynasty for another 15 years. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, but I mean, is that really far off to say that possibly we gave up our future?
I get it. But it's not like, and this is what I was listening to someone on ESPN talk about. Oh,
That's your
man.
first mistake.
Right, yeah. It was like, oh, you know, the Patriots traded away the guy they thought was going to be Tom Brady's successor. They've done it a lot, right?
Everybody.
Matt Castle, drafted by the Patriots, right? Traded away. No, signed and traded. Franchise tagged and traded.
Yep.
Brian Hoyer, backup quarterback. At this time, Tom Brady's like 35, 30 or whatever, 32. The average NFL quarterback's twilight would start around then. And then remember Ryan Mallett?
Yep.
And they drafted him, high pick, like what was it, like a 3rd round pick? They thought that was going to be the guy.
He went to the Texans, right?
They went to the Texans, yeah. They let him go. They either traded him or whatever. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, okay. And then the next year, they draft Jimmy Garoppolo, and then a year or 2 later, they draft Jacoby Brissett. So they draft a quarterback a lot. Like, if you go look at their drafts, every year or 2, there's a quarterback in there. Sometimes it's the 7th round, and it's just a guy to fill a roster spot or to compete. Sometimes it's a 2nd round pick like Jimmy Garoppolo was. And they've reset at the backup quarterback position a lot. And I don't think that because they traded Garoppolo, like, oh, that's it, it's the end of the world, everyone's unhappy. They've done this for the past 10 years, where you would assume Brady might be hitting the end of his career because, at 32, most quarterbacks fizzle out around 35 or whatever. And then at 35, you're like, okay, let's go get this guy. And then at 37, you're like, okay, let's go get Jimmy Garoppolo because he's 37 and we'll see what happens, And then at 39, okay, let's go get Jacoby Brissett and then see what happens. And then, oh, he's 40. Now we don't have any backups. We got Brian Hoyer. Not bad. That worked out. Perfect backup. You know what I mean? He's not your future. But if Brady were to get hurt, Hoyer could come in and manage a game. And then the draft is coming.
I was just going to bring that up.
And then draft another quarterback, just like they do every year or every other year or whatever. And they might wind up with a guy. So if Brady, now lightning in a bottle normally doesn't strike twice, let alone 3 times. Garoppolo seems to be the real deal. So the fact that they drafted Brady real late, had a steal, seems like a great pick, I would say. Right?
The best pick.
Best pick ever. And then 15, 17 years later, whatever, they draft Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2nd round. Probably going to be the best quarterback out of that class. He looks really, really good. And then now they let him go. Are they going to be able to do it again? Are they going to be able to find the next really good quarterback? That's what's tough.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I know that this year's class is really quarterback heavy.
It's real quarterback heavy, but real quarterback disappointing. Like, the names were real good going into the season. Like, oh, this class is going to be crazy. And then everyone just laid an egg during the regular season, or during the playoff season, or the college football season.
I was going to bring up, do you think that Patriots take the second round pick that they got for Garoppolo and draft a quarterback with that one.
Try to get Baker Mayfield if he falls. Turn him
I
into a
don't
wide
know
receiver.
if I want him.
I was saying that he's going to make a real good Patriots wide receiver.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want him. Just for the fact that I think he's a cocky little prick.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say little because he's a beast, but
Yeah.
I just think I don't
fight
like those types of players.
I'd fight him. No.
I would not fight that man.
Yeah, no, I don't really like guys like that either. But also,
Humble yourself.
he was also, like, definitely provoked. When he grabbed his junk and did all that. Like, he went to go shake hands with the opposing team first, and they snubbed him. So then it was like, all right, you want to go there all day? I got you. You know what I mean? So then he's playing mind games with them all day, and he's talking trash and grabbing his dick or whatever. Then I don't know, and it's not the way to handle it. But we've watched Tom Brady get disrespected by somebody and then run up in their face after a touchdown, and you know what I mean, or stick it to somebody, and
That's a good point.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
it's a good way to look at it, I guess.
It wasn't just like, oh, this guy's an a-hole. He acted like an asshole when provoked. And
Yeah.
you got to have your head about you. You got to be better than that. It's like Rob Gronkowski dropping the people's elbow on Tre'Davious White.
Right
or
on
whatever.
his neck.
Yeah, and it just wasn't, not a great move, not a great look, terrible thing. But, people act up sometimes, and people lose control of their emotions. And I don't know if that one thing is a great example of Baker Mayfield. I don't watch college football a lot, so I don't know if he has a reputation of being that kind of guy all the time. But I know with that one situation, I watched him go to extend his hand out before the game, and they just kept their hands behind their back. And I'm like, you're Kansas football team. Like, you're irrelevant. Why are you you're fucking highbrow with me right now, man? Like, okay, all right, whatever. Like, I'll give it to you. You can hold that. You can hold that. Hold these, and it seems like it. So I don't know, man. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I
Tough
agree. But I don't know. I just really hope that our quarterback situation pans out the way that everyone's hoping it is.
I agree with you there. All right. Well, this is good. All right, I'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Of course,
been real.
It's been real. It's been fun. Just wasn't real fun.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see what I did there.
I thought that it's been real
You
fun.
thought it was fun? Oh, that's fun. That's fun. So, my name is Dave, host of Hashtag Dave Speaks. Of course, thanks, Kevin, for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Another episode of Hashtag Dave Speaks on the belt. Go pick up some merchandise of the B.S.N network. We are moving and shaking. We got t-shirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, phone cases, laptops, baby onesies. We got all types of things. I mean, pillows, tapestry, tote bags, the whole kit and caboodle. Go to TeePublic, that's TEE, public.com/user/BSN network, and go check out some of our stuff. Go buy a shirt and feed a starving puppy.
The person that buys the most shirts, you're hearing it here first, Dave will buy you a brand new BMW.
Not true. That's not true. I totally dissolved that statement.
All right.
You're saying that because you bought the most so far. So that's why you're saying that. But
I expect it in the mail.
BMW comes right in the mail, right in your mailbox. No problem. Little Hot Wheels. Don't worry about it. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Go pick yourself up a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something. Stay warm. This has been the outdoor bomb cyclone edition of Hashtag Dave Speaks. Go Patriots.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens.
Let's do it.
Shut Dave. Shut Dave.